Let's start with the unboxing. I got the 24 alcohol-based marker set from Ohuhu. Inside are 24 markers, a plastic sheet to stop the ink from bleeding through your paper, catalog of other Ohuhu products, and a color chart. The chart is super helpful because it shows the real colors of each marker, which is better than just looking at the caps. Each marker has two tips, a brush tip for smooth strokes and blending, and a rounded tip for small details. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Ohuhu. I bought this set with my own money, so everything I say is my honest opinion. Now let's move on to the drawing I prepared for testing these markers. I started by doing the sketch and inking on my iPad using the app Procreate. After finishing it there, I printed the sketch, traced it onto transfer paper, and then I transferred it onto A3 watercolor paper. For the inking on the watercolor paper, I used different sizes of micron Sakura markers for the details and Posca markers for the bold lines. Now it's time to test the Ohuhu markers. Before I started using the markers, I filled out the color chart that came with the set. This step is really important because the colors printed on the marker caps don't match the actual ink colors. I did this on a blank sheet of watercolor paper. This helped me see how the markers would look like and behave on the paper I'm using for the final piece. I also tried some blending tests. I learned a few things. To create a smooth gradient, I had to layer the colors in a specific way. For example, I started with a lighter blue, then added a darker blue on top, and went back to the lighter blue to blend them together. I found that going back and forth between the colors creates a nice gradient. It took a bit of practice, but the results were really smooth. For the illustration, I decided to use a cel shading style. I started with the medium tones of each color first, filling in the base areas. After that, I added the shadows to give it depth. The colors are very vibrant, and I only needed 2 layers to completely fill in the areas. That was a nice surprise for markers in this price range. In some part of the drawing, I experimented with blending, and the markers handled it really well. The brush tip worked great for larger areas because it's flexible and covers space easily. For the shadows and smaller details, I switched to the rounded tip. It worked fine, but you do need to be careful. If you press too hard, the ink can spread a little. One thing to watch out for. Make sure you erase all the pencil lines before you start coloring. I left some pencil marks in certain areas, and when I used the markers on top of them, the graphite mixed with the ink and left stains. So, erasing beforehand is a must if you want a clear finish. After finishing the colors, I added highlights to the drawing. I used a soft white pencil for this and blended it out with a blender tool. So, what's my final take on the Ohuhu alcohol-based markers? Honestly, I'm impressed. For the price, they offer a lot of value. The colors are bright and layered beautifully, and the dual tips, brush and rounded, make them versatile for different styles of art. There's one thing to keep in mind though. You will definitely want to fill out the color chart before starting any projects, because the marker caps aren't super accurate to the actual ink colors. Overall, I think these markers are a fantastic option if you're looking for an affordable alternative to Copics. They may not be perfect, but they are a great way to get started with alcohol-based markers without breaking the bank. And I can see myself using these markers for more pieces in the future. Don't forget to check out another project I did, a low-budget graffiti sign on wood with LED lights. And if you want to see more art and creative projects like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. My name is Daniel Columna, and I will see you very soon. Adiós!